Shalom, this is Brother Montezal. About to do a lesson on basically we didn't have to go back to Egypt, literal Egypt on ships, and there's a reason, why the Heavenly Father basically took us when we was in the wilderness, through the Red Sea. And the reason why I'm doing this lesson is because, you got these Christians, these Christian so-called scholars trying to say that, the Israelites literally went back to Egypt again and tried to sell themselves, which is, a lie, and the proof is in the scriptures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a few scriptures to prove that. Okay, before I open up, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and Rule Well. Peace and salutations to all you Akim out there that's laboring in His truth and truth and sincerity. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up first here in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 46. He says, "And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee." And you can, by the way, you can type in that word yoke and Google. You can Google it and then click on the images, and all you're gonna see is so-called Negro slaves with the yoke of iron on their neck. You don't see any other nation, in the planet that's happened to. This is verse 49. He says, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." He said, "A nation whose fear countenance." Let me start that again, verse 49. He said, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth." Right. And that nation that came far from the end of the earth was from over here, from the Americas. He says, "From the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." So basically, because it goes right into it, the context, reading into the context. So if we went to slavery, which is we did on slave cargo ships, these slave cargo ships came from the other side of the earth, and it's saying it right here, in the scriptures. He says, "In the nations," Slakia, he says, "whose tongue thou shalt not understand." Right, because they were speaking in a whole other language. They were speaking English, and we were speaking in Hebrew. He said, "A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young." Right, and they didn't. The so-called white man, when he came and got us and put us on those slave cargo ships, man, they didn't show no regard. They didn't care if they was babies or if it was an old man or old woman. They did them the same way they did everybody, man. They was throwing them overboard, feeding them to the sharks. They was killing them too. They was doing everything just like they was doing everybody else. I'm gonna jump down to the verse that I really want. This is verse 68. He says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." And this is the controversy right here. This is the part right here where they say that we actually went back to the actual land Egypt again, which makes no sense. He says, because really the word Egypt is parabolic, it's symbolic to slavery. it's comparing it to that first slavery. And as we go on in the lesson, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay? Slakia, not what I'm talking about. You're going to see what the scriptures is saying. Okay? He says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way, where I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, which would be the land of Israel. We're not going to see that land again, which is we didn't. He says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that's another thing right here. This is what they say. We were these Christian scholars. They said that we try to sell ourselves back. We went back into Egypt and got off the ships and tried to sell ourselves back into slavery, which makes absolutely no sense at all. Because when you go into that word buy, which is H, it's in the Strongs, it's H7069. I'm gonna just jump into Strong's definition. It says a primitive root to erect, that is create by extension, to procure, especially by purchase, causatively sell, by implication to own, obtain, buy, or buyer, teach, to keep, cattle, get, provoke, to jealousy, possess or possessor, purchase, recover, redeem. So basically, in this whole definition, this means that no man shall redeem you. And that's going to come up again further along in the lesson, with these precepts I'm going to pull up, okay? We're going to go, the first step I'm going to show you is how, you don't have to take a ship over into Egypt. You can, there was other ways to get into Egypt from Israel. There was other ways. It wasn't just by ship. And this is an account in the book of Genesis, chapter 49, starting at verse 19. Slakia. Genesis 45:19. Yeah, Yeah, this is Genesis 45:19 through 49. Slakia. 19 through 27. He says, now thou art commanded this, do ye take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. See, they took wagons from out of the land of Egypt. This is Joseph when he was sending his brothers back to go get, actually it was the Pharaoh saying this. He gave them wagons, to go back into the land of Israel from Egypt, to pick up his father and all the other Israelites and bring them back over into Egypt. It's going to go into it. He said, also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. And he says, to all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pence of silver and 5 changes of raiment. And to the father he sent after his manner 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed, and he said unto them, see that ye fail not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt and came into the land of Canaan, and to Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived. It's another account too. And Genesis 46, start at verse 1. He says, and Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto the Most High of his father Isaac. And the Most High spake unto Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I. And he said, I am the Most High, the power of thy father. Salakia, let me say that again. He says, and he said, I am Yahweh, the power of your father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation, and I will go with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again, and Joseph shall put his hand upon thy eyes. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father and their little ones and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. So yeah, basically that was just the point. You know, they were able to get into Egypt by wagons, not by ship. Okay. That's another point. This is the book of Exodus. I'm going to start at verse 13 and 17. Yeah, and then right here in the book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 17, this is basically the Most High. Basically, what he did was there was a reason why he was taking them, you know, the way he was taking them through the Red Sea. Salakia. This is Exodus 13 and 17. He says, and it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that the Most High led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines. See, because if the Most High wanted to, he could have led them through the land of the Philistines. He didn't have to take them to the Red Sea. They could have actually, walked over, into the land of the Philistines. Okay. He says, although that was near, for the Most High said, I least prevention the people repent when they see war, and then return to Egypt. Right. At least they see the war coming, and then they get afraid and then run back into Egypt. Because he could have easily, say, hey, we can go this way. But instead, they took the longer route. He says, but the Most High led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up, harnessed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took their journey from Succoth, and encamped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, and led them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. Exodus chapter 14. He says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pi-hahiroth, between Migdal and the sea over against Baal Zephon, before it shall ye encamp by the sea. For the Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness had have shut them in, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart that he shall follow after them, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. And it was told. So basically, the Most High did this also too, to show the children of Israel, show the children of Israel his power, so he can also be glorified, man. He says, and it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants were turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? And he made his chariot and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened his heart the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. All of this was for the glory of the Lord. And the children of Israel went out with a high hand. See, the children of Israel went out with a high hand. The high hand is the Heavenly Father's. He says, but the Egyptians pursued after them all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them and camped them by the sea, besides Pi-hahiroth, before Baal Zephon. I can't pronounce it. I'm trying to do the best I can. Salakia. It says, and when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there was no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt with us to carry us from out of Egypt? He says, is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone? They already complained. That we may serve the Egyptians, for it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more ever. See, that's another cut right there. You see, so basically, Deuteronomy 28:68. When he said he shall take us up into Egypt again by ships, that's how you know it's not talking about the same Egypt, because the Heavenly Father does not go back on his word. Right here, I just read. He says, for the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. So we wasn't gonna see those Egyptians again. Not those Hamitic Egyptians. But the Egyptians that's symbolic, which would be the Edomites, the so-called white men, who got the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians in his possession still to this very day, man. We have not been redeemed. Let's gonna go into that too. He says, and Moses said unto, I'm going to start again in 13. He said, and Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you, it's like it to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Right. Just like right now, you know. As long as you stand still, man, and do what you're supposed to do, the Lord, he gonna fight for you, man. He said, he says, and the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me, speaking to the children of Israel, that they go forward? But lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will give me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon all his hosts, and upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of the Most High, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. Yeah, the Most High, you know, he slowed them down. You know, and he allowed us to get a huge step on them, man. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on the left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning, watch the Lord look. And it came to pass that in the morning, watch, the Lord looked into the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. So the Most High saw them through he saw them, and then he troubled them. He's gonna go into what he did. And he says, and he took their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee. That's when, from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on the left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Basically, really, that's the point. That's the only reason why we was going through water, from the land of Egypt, so the Most High can be glorified, and so the children of Israel can believe on the Most High and Moses, and also to believe that Moses was his servant. That was the only reason why we was going through water, in the first place. So they would try to use that, these Christians and these pastors and these churches, man, talking all that mumble jumble. They'll tell you that, we literally went back to the land of Egypt by ships and basically was selling ourselves into slavery, which makes absolutely no damn sense. I'm gonna read this one more chapter and I'm gonna close up with that. This is Exodus chapter 15. He says, "Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he will triumph gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my power, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's power, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains are also are drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. Thy right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, hath dashed in pieces the enemy. And the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee. Thou sendest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. And with the blast of thy nostrils the waters were gathered together. The flood stood upright as an heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue and I will overtake. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them, and I will draw my sword. My hand shall destroy them. And basically, not to get off topic, but it really isn't off topic. That's the same thing the Lord gonna do for those who believe on him now. He gonna, the Lord is gonna come and disappoint this devil, so-called white man Esau Edom, with his new world order. He coming soon to disappoint him. He's coming to do it again. Salakia, where I'm at. He says, Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them, they sank and led in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the among the gods? Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? They stretched out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength into thy holy habitation. Let's go into this word redeemed. That's going to be Strong's H1350. To redeem, act. Actually, I'm going to go down to A. by marrying brothers, widow. No, that's not it. To redeem by payment. To redeem with the Most High as subject. Individuals from death. Israel from Egyptian bondage. Israel from exile. To redeem oneself. To be redeemed. So basically, we have not been redeemed, but we have, for those who, Lord willing, are of the elect, the hopeful elect, men of the Lord. They've already been redeemed. They've been purchased, by the blood of the Son of the Most High, who everybody ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, who is Yahweh Shah. They have been redeemed. Those are the ones that's going to get saved up on the chariots, man. The ones who, that's of the elect. Okay? The word redeemed basically means, it's going to go into it more in here. It's like it, what verse was I in? Verse 14. He said, the people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the habitation of Palestine. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab trembling shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. Fear and dread shall fall upon them by greatness of thine arm. They shall be as still as a stone till thy people pass over, O Lord, till thy people pass over, which thou hast purchased. Let's go into this word purchase. In Strong's H7069. It's to get, inquire, create, buy, possess. To get, acquire, obtain, of Yahweh, originating, creating, redeeming his people. So basically, when it goes into going back into Deuteronomy, let's go back to that 28 verse 68. Going back into this word buy, which is Strong's H7069. It's the same definition. So when it says no man shall buy you, there's nobody gonna come and redeem us. The Heavenly Father's not gonna come and get us like he came and got us out of that Egypt. Not like that. We to stay here until he sent his only begotten son, Yahweh Shah, to come and get us. So, we're still in the so-called white man's possession. So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. He still got us in his possession. He never released us back into our land. You see? So, we're still here, waiting on our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah, to come and get us. And that's basically the point, man. This is talking about slave cargo ships. We put on slave cargo ships. This is a prophecy about the slave cargo ships. We were put on those ships and brought over here to the Americas and to other places also scattered in the four corners of the earth. So basically that was the point. With that, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakak Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations to all you Akim out here that's laboring in its truth and sincerity. Shalom.